across the sea of it.
Think you've heard every great rock band from the 60s and 70s? Think again. Behind the legends, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Hendrix, were dozens of forgotten bands who rocked just as hard, maybe harder. Today, we're digging up 12 obscure rock bands that time tried to bury, but real fans never forgot. Let's crank it up. Ever heard of Bang? Probably not. But if you love early Black Sabbath, you're about to. Formed in Philadelphia in the early 70s, this trio dropped their self-titled debut in 1971, and it's pure proto-metal perfection. Heavy riffs, apocalyptic lyrics, pounding drums. This was doom rock before doom was even a genre. They took the dark energy of Sabbath, mixed it with American grit, and made something that hit like a thunderclap. The crazy part? Hardly anyone noticed at the time. But decades later, metalheads and stoner rock fans rediscovered Bang, and it's now considered a lost classic. So tell me, have you ever stumbled across a record that felt like it was made for you, but from another time? This one's a real gem for fans of the Yardbirds and Deep Purple. Armageddon was a short-lived supergroup led by Keith Relf. Yes, that Keith Relf, the singer from the Yardbirds. They released just one album in 1975, a self-titled record that's part prog, part hard rock, and totally hypnotic. It's got those long, spacey jams, but also these razor-sharp guitar parts that keep you locked in. Imagine Hawkwind's cosmic vibe, but with Deep Purple's muscle. Sadly, the band didn't last. Relf passed away shortly after. But this one album remains a shining time capsule of mid-70s experimentation. Now, let's talk about a band that perfectly captured the darker side of blues rock. May Blitz was a UK-Canadian power trio that only lasted 2 albums, but what they left behind is pure gold. Their self-titled debut in 1970 sounds like Cream if they spent a week locked in a smoky basement with Sabbath's gear. It's heavy, it's gritty, and it's got this eerie, bluesy mood that just pulls you in. Their follow-up, the 2nd of May, is even more experimental, a mix of psychedelic grooves and fuzzed-out riffs that sound like they were made for vinyl hiss and dim lights. Have you ever noticed how some of the best rock bands only needed 1 or 2 records to make history? May Blitz is a perfect example. If you love that heady mix of heaviness and atmosphere, Armageddon is your next obsession. All right, let's turn up the volume, because Blue Cheer might just be the loudest band of the 1960s. These San Francisco maniacs took Eddie Cochran's innocent summertime blues and turned it into a wall of distortion and feedback so fierce it practically invented heavy metal. This was 1968, before Sabbath, before Zeppelin, before anyone thought rock could sound this heavy. Their debut, Vinspus Eruptum, was all amps, attitude, and chaos. Critics hated it. Fans loved it. Blue Cheer didn't just play loud, they were loudness incarnate. Would you call them the first metal band? Let me know in the comments. This one's always up for debate.
Could have met. You make me feel like in my life I've got something to get.
Now here's a band that broke every rule before rules even existed. High Tide, a British group from 1969, did something unheard of. They mixed screaming electric guitars with electric violin.
I look fondly back at these days.
Their debut album, Sea Shanties, is an absolute monster. Dark, distorted, and weirdly beautiful.
The sea, oh, my friends and me.
It's like King Crimson got locked in a garage with early Sabbath and decided to see who could make the heavier record. The result? A sound that was too strange for mainstream radio, but decades later, it's recognized as a proto-metal masterpiece. This is one of those records that makes you ask, how did nobody know about this sooner? From Texas, we've got Josephus, a band that sounded like Sabbath took a road trip through the Deep South. Their 1970 album Dead Man is haunting, bluesy, and filled with slow-burning heaviness that was way ahead of its time. The title track alone, over 17 minutes long, feels like a funeral march for the Flower Power era. Josephus didn't last long, but their mix of southern grit and doom-laden riffs became a major influence on stoner and doom bands decades later. If you like your rock-heavy but soulful, Josephus is a name you should know.
Soon night comes around, singing some sound.
You can't talk about obscure genius without mentioning the Pretty Things. They started out as a wild British R&B band in the early 60s, often louder and dirtier than even the Rolling Stones. But by 1968, they evolved and created SF Sorrow, one of rock's first concept albums. And get this, it came before The Who's Tommy. SF Sorrow told a full, tragic story through music, psychedelic, emotional, and far ahead of its time. They never got the recognition they deserved, but without the Pretty Things, rock opera might not exist as we know it. Have you ever discovered a band that made you rethink what classic rock really means?
All the wrong ones.
From California's late 60s psychedelic scene comes one of rock's great what-if stories, Kak. They only made one album, self-titled Kak, in 1969. But that single record shines with shimmering guitar lines, harmonies, and a trippy, free-spirited vibe that captures the San Francisco sound at its peak. It's a blend of Jefferson Airplane's psychedelia and the Byrds' melodic jangle, but with a sharper, fuzzier edge.
The changes that have taken place.
Kak could have been huge, but poor timing, label issues, and the collapse of the 60s dream buried them fast. Still, for those who dig deep, this lost gem feels like unearthing a secret time capsule of psychedelic rock history.
Landing on a star, knowing you are.
Now this one
Erasing all my memories.
Captain Beyond,
And remember underneath you,
Iron Butterfly,
it's just the season on and the dance away. But remember remember underneath dance faster.
Expect something big.
A man that danced away, just in my
Their
dream.
1972
Tiptoe quickly over there. I just remember underneath you, just to see you there. That's it.
kind of record
Forget all about your care.
heavy, but also
Just to see you
if you
there.
ever wanted to hear what space rock sounds like,
Knowing that's so far.
have you ever listened to a band that rock?
Just to see you there.
This is one of those. This might just be one of the greatest forgotten rock albums of the early 70s. T2's It'll All Work Out in Boomland from 1970 is a mind-bending blend of hard rock, prog, and psychedelic soundscapes. Guitarist Keith Cross was only 17 when he recorded it, but he played with the precision and passion of a veteran. Long songs, emotional solos, and explosive energy, this album feels like watching a storm roll across your speakers. Sadly, the band barely promoted it and broke up soon after. But today, collectors treat Boomland like buried treasure. If you're into bands like Pink Floyd, Early Yes, or Deep Purple, T2 deserves your time. Let's crank it up again, because Sir Lord Baltimore was one of the loudest and rawest bands to come out of early 70s America. Their debut, Kingdom Come, dropped in 1970, and it was so heavy that critics didn't even know what to call it. Rolling Stone magazine described it as heavy metal, one of the first times that phrase was ever used in print. Their sound? Screaming vocals, insane drumming, and fuzzed-out guitars that hit like a truck. Bands like Kiss and Metallica later cited them as influences, but back then, Sir Lord Baltimore were too intense for mainstream radio. Listening to them now feels like hearing metal being born in real time. Can you imagine being in 1970 and hearing that for the first time? It must have melted faces. Finally, we reach number 1. Leaf Hound might just be the crown jewel of obscure 70s rock. Formed in London in the early 70s, they released Growers of Mushroom in 1971 and then vanished. But that one record? It's legendary. Packed with fuzzy, blues-driven riffs and raw vocals, it bridges the gap between heavy blues rock and early metal. It's the sound of a band catching fire, wild, loud, and alive. For years, original copies of Growers of Mushroom sold for thousands because it was that rare. And now it's finally getting the love it deserves. If you've ever wondered what it would sound like if Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath had a secret love child, this is it. The journey doesn't end here, rock warrior. Watch this next.